What's happening, y'all? We are live. Welcome back. This is another episode of Creatia Comics, the number one comic book reaction podcast on Pornhub. Comic book show reaction show. Yeah, that. Anyway, I'm your host, Lord Cussalott Travis Pointer, aka the Dragon King, aka Big T, aka T Money, aka Sweet T, aka Black Merlin, aka the HNIC. And I'm joined as always by my co-host Mara the Shark Watkins.
Hello.
How you doing tonight, Mara?
I'm doing swell.
Good. Glad to hear. I voted today.
I gotta do that.
Got my free sticker and everything.
I wanna do the early votes so I don't have to worry about it.
That's what we did, cause yeah.
Smart.
I agree. But yes, as important as voting is, though, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Please do it so we can keep our civil rights, though.
That would be nice. That would be nice. However, what we're here for is to, talk about all the different comic book shows across the world and everything that's happening and all that stuff. So, let's do that. But before that, let me remind you, if you're not watching us live, you can watch us live every week right here on twitch.tv/Creatia World. You can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/Creatia World.
I'm here. Sorry.
You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Creatia World. All that good stuff. And you can also just listen on podcast services everywhere. So that's where you can find us if you want to listen and watch. Thank you very much for doing so. If you are watching this live on Twitch, don't forget you should subscribe to us. Give us a little help there. If you do have Twitch and you have a Amazon Prime account, you also have Prime Gaming that allows you to subscribe to us for free. Please do that. We really appreciate that. It'll help us out a lot. Thank you very much. Give us that Amazon money. It's just sitting there. You're not using it anyway. Just throw it our way. And if you don't give it to us, give it to somebody. We really appreciate that.
I was gonna say because then Bezos is just gonna keep putting it towards rocket ships and shit.
Exactly. So this week we're here to talk about this week's episode of Stargirl, but we're also going to talk about a special thing that Marvel did. We decided to go ahead and do it for Halloween, Werewolf by Night. So we're going to talk about that as well.
So if you haven't watched it, that's a spoiler alert. If that's not one.
Yeah. So we were fully talking about it. So that's what we're also here to do.
I think we should do that 1 second so that the viewers, since they didn't expect that, they have time to go watch it before they listen to us talk about it.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, where would you like to start?
Stargirl.
Okay.
So that they expect us to do that by default. So if our viewers and listeners, if y'all are listening and watching, we will do Stargirl first so that you can pause and then go watch Werewolf by Night and then come back and then listen to us talk about it anyway.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with Stargirl then.
And it's a part 2.
It was. So what was the name of this episode before we get into it?
Frenemies, Chapter 8, Infinity Inc. Part 2.
Okay. All right, so this episode kicks off. Pat and the Shade are still in, the Shadowlands. They haven't gotten out. He being the Shade is still explaining the rules and stuff. All of that. There's a bunch of folks that are actually locked up in the whatever this place, Helix. That's what it's called. We find out later they're there by choice, but yeah. Let's see. we get a little background on Todd. Apparently, he was abused
For
when
being
he was in
gay.
his group home for being gay. Yeah.
They really want us to talk about wieners.
Yeah, I see. I've seen that, and I've chosen to ignore it.
Oh, wiener.
You only encourage it.
I do. I also encourage texting back when you finish too.
Listen, I actually thought I did text you back. If I'm being completely honest, like it's been a busy day. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you should figure that out and let us know if the shade has a shadow wiener.
Yeah, like I would imagine his wiener can do shadow tricks like the rest of his body can. So
Can
there's a good
appear in one
chance.
place and disappear to another.
Exactly. Anything he can do with shadows, he can probably do with shadows with his wiener.
That's a good assumption.
Yeah,
You got some love there.
I see that. I see that, and I appreciate the love. So Courtney got locked up in some office, and the lady in charge, whose name I don't know,
They
comes
said
in.
it and I totally forgot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she comes in. She's pissed at Courtney for everything they did. Like, you ruined everything. Blah blah blah. Apparently Todd is super dangerous and blah 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 blah. So
I thought that's what he does with his complosion shadow wiener magic. I'm so dead.
it's complosion.
How
You
are we still
know,
how are we still talking about? I mean, you don't become the #1 superhero podcast on Pornhub if you don't talk about wieners.
this is true. This is true.
So I was getting ready to ask, I was like, how are we still talking about wiener right now?
I don't know. Don't know. You know what else didn't have any? Well, actually, didn't have any wiener. Surprisingly, we kind of talked about it, but there's usually a lot more wiener there.
Where?
House of the Dragon.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot.
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't any, I don't think.
No, there was no dick shots, but
Yeah,
I don't think so. But there was there. I think there was like one titty shot.
yeah, yeah. Thrones used to give us the full frontal nudity, and this one, House of Dragon did not deliver. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Y'all can catch our thoughts on that on the hashtag Them Dragons podcast. We actually do bring that up and talk about it thoroughly.
And you can find that on all of our streaming podcasts too. We also have a group.
Yeah, facebook.com/group/Them Dragons. Yeah, go there. Talk about it with us. So there's some rules to the Shadowlands, as the Shade is explaining. Basically, it feeds on your fears and insecurities. So anything you afraid of or that you're feeling insecure about, all that, the Shadowlands is going to bring that all up to the surface so it can feed on it.
Sounds like my dreams.
And the Shade is all like, normally this doesn't really affect me because I have no use for such emotions, but
Sounds like Rick
Rick?
from Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah. Like I say, I've known multiple Ricks, so we had to specify.
Not to be confused with Rick from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's where my head went first too. I'm just like, no, he got plenty of emotion. But anyway, first thing they see in the Shadowland inside the diner is the gambler. He starts talking shit about the Shade's sister. Shade don't like that. So they end up running up out of the diner, and they're now in Pat's garage in the Shadowland.
Where they find his dad, and
yeah, where's Pappy in there? And the Pappy in there talking shit now.
He was a mean motherfucker.
Yeah, man. He's in there fucking with Pat's head, and so then we go to Jen. She's locked in this room with glowing shit on the wall, and her ring don't work.
I thought that was a cell.
mean, technically, a cell is a room, so.
This is true. I meant like it like was given like locked away vibes.
Mm-hmm.
She's also
Yeah,
told she can't be with Todd no more because they are dangerous together.
yeah. Let's see. Then we're back in the Shadowlands. We see the Shade's sister on her deathbed. Shade's not doing well with this, and he's
He
trying to
said,
run away.
"Fuck that!
Yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
doing this today."
Like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this.
It really is giving more Rick, the way like Rick escapes like the canon of like what happened to his wife and such.
Mm-hmm.
For he's like, nah, I'm not dealing with this shit today.
Yeah, yeah. So then Courtney starts talking to the camera, to the camera in the office. Eventually, Mr. Bones walks in all his Keith Davidness, and
And his
basically,
cyanide touch
yeah, he can't touch nothing because he touch it, it dies. So he got to wear gloves all the time, and like, man, that sucks.
means you literally cannot do anything.
Yeah, yeah, it's like worse than Rogue. Like, she touched people that end up in comas and shit, but like you touch them, they just like wither away and die, and that's every living thing it touches, not even just people.
Like that plant didn't have any idea what was coming its way
At all, at all.
I wonder how many of those plants that they replace those with every time he proves that point.
Yeah, it has to be like a regular thing when people come to to stay there. It's a demonstration he has to do. So it's just like, do they have the greens, the local greenery or the greenhouse on speed dial where they can just
that's what I just thought about. I was like, how like that plant literally died for
nursery. That's the
what?
word I was thinking of.
It was like how do you are you doing this every time you introduce yourself to someone? Like how like does he always like have a convenient plant to just kill nearby? And then is that because they believe that plants are not actual like sentient beings because they don't feel or anything? I have so many like moral issues with his shit, like with his own nursery. It's like it takes me back to Game of Thrones when they were talking about the kids down in the flea
bottom.
The flea bottom. Like they just breed, like he just breeding them kids to let them fight.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for for also seeing the same thing.
So
like mandrakes from Harry Potter.
Oh man,
I know you don't really get that one, but
I don't. But
others will.
You enjoyed it, and that's what matters.
Thank you.
So also, we find out the Shade actually chose not to be there when his sister died. He just didn't want to deal with it. He's like, "Oh, people dying and blah blah blah." I actually cared about it. I can't do it. Yeah.
He's like, I got feelings, but I choose not to feel them.
Mm-hmm. So we found out the issue that was happening with Jenny and Todd was because of the darkness in the ring. And Courtney's like, yo, look, what needs to happen is Jay needs to bring Todd her light. Her actual light is what's going to balance him out, and everything's going to be all right. So clearly now it's time to bring them together. So, of course, that's what they're doing. But in the meantime, we got Pat struggling with, dealing with his relationship with Mike. He's like feeling like, oh,
because we finally got some more backstory on that.
Him more just in his head what he's thinking might be happening, which is, Mike getting further and further away from him because he's neglecting him because he's so focused on the JSA, and like Mike might feel like he's like forgotten completely about his mother and all that shit.
Mm-hmm. I get that. And then they kind of like push him off to the side so much when it comes to JSA stuff. So it's just like, you're not doing anything. You're not doing a lot with him. So like, I could see it.
Yeah, but at the same time, he kind of sucks. So like,
I was gonna say what we've seen Mike,
Yeah,
and he seems to be just doing his own thing. But then again, we don't know what people are going through on the inside.
this is true. He tried to have the pen and he couldn't have the pen, which is why Jakeem has the pen now because Mike can't be trusted with it. That's my point. That's why he keeps getting pushed to the side because that
Jesus
shit.
Christ! If he'd fuck around and wish for his mom.
Then we got zombie mom walking in and trying to eat his face and shit. See, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Was she dead or was she just gone?
I don't know if they actually said.
I thought they had said she took off. Like she left him at a soup kitchen and took off.
Hmm. I don't mean she didn't die after that.
Yeah, like I was like, did they say she had died? I was like, as far as they had just said, I think I had thought beforehand she was dead. So I don't know. Maybe they did say at some point she died, but like they were saying about how she left Mike at a soup kitchen and then he took him and that he got him and then they went about their lives. Are you looking it up?
Yes. Joan Colosimo.
What?
Her name is Joan Colosimo.
Oh. Maggie.
Why does it say something different here? Maybe Maggie was her middle name or some shit. Because it was just like his father.
Maggie Shaw.
Huh. Oh, this is somebody different here. Who the fuck are you?
This is like, I don't know. I'm looking at two different sources and they both say
the
Maggie.
reason why I'm looking at this on Google, but it said because his father was Patrick Dugan, which, you know, in the show is his name. But then there's the picture of him right here. I'm like, that ain't Mike. It's some old white dude.
So I gotta look up what happened to Maggie Shaw.
SHAW.
Mm-hmm. Because that is something that they don't talk about a lot. They don't.
Right.
They don't really mention a lot about like what happened to Mike's mom. It's just that like by the time that we meet them in the show, they're already like, you know, Pat and Barb are already like married and a thing.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not getting anything here even on the wiki.
That's where I am.
Yeah. I got nothing. So, oh well.
She's not in the picture.
Now. Yeah,
so.
I'm over it. I no longer care. So the Jenny Todd combo works. Her light brings balance to his darkness, and everything is good and everything is awesome. And Pat and Shade come back because everything's in balance again. There's a whole thing that they're getting ready to leave, and you find out at this point that nobody who is at Helix is there against their will, like including Todd. Todd was there by choice.
Yeah.
Everybody who was there by choice. And Courtney was trying to go off on Mr. Bones, like, what you're doing isn't right, and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, nah, anybody who's here is free to leave anytime.
Yeah,
like,
they can go whenever they want. However, I thought it was interesting when Todd said he was going with Jenny, and it almost seemed like the lady was like, I don't really think that's a good idea. And then she looked like But since we just said it is
Well, I think it was
voluntary,
still. Well, I think they still heavily suggest that you be here because they still think he might be dangerous. So it's just like, yo, you can go. I just don't think you should.
no, I know it was just funny because it just felt like it felt like such a switch up. It was like, you sure you want to do that? And then it was like, well, I know we just said that you guys are free to go whenever you want, so gotta let you go.
Yeah, yeah. But once
So,
again, like it's like Todd knew
yeah,
that already, so it's just that's why he was just gonna leave. So, but I feel what you're saying.
yeah.
Um, so then Pat suggested the Shade, help Todd out with his powers. Like, yo, y'all kind of do the same thing. Talk to him, help him out, be his mentor. Um, turns out Jenny and Todd were going to New York. They're like, Jenny's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, and Shade's like, well, then please say no. So like,
Say no then, so I don't have to do this shit.
exactly. But they're going up to New York because they're going to the Sandman's nephew. That's how she found Todd in the first place. So the Sandman's
Sandboy.
nephew has the Sandman's powers. So
Mm.
yeah. And then
Oh,
we do that thing again because they find out that it wasn't Mr. Bones and the Helix folks that are watching them on the cameras. Now we're going like, oh, some more. Who's watching on the cameras? Honestly, Mara, I no longer care.
I don't
Like,
care who it is either, and we know it's
like,
some regular white guy because when he punched the screen, all I saw was white wrist.
yeah, and it
So
was
we
just
know,
one,
so we know it's not Dragon King.
right? There's no scales there, but it was just they keep doing this at the end of every episode, and I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Like, it's just
It's been 8 weeks.
yeah, and you do this every week. You really should have just let it disappear for a while and brought it back
Or I'll
every
say
now and
it's
then.
been 7 weeks or seven. It's been 7 episodes since they really started showing that someone's watching them.
Right.
So it's just like, how much longer are we going to do this for?
Yeah. I'm over it. I no longer care.
Because Stargirl gets like what? Do they get like a full 20 something episode season? I don't even
I
remember
think
anymore.
so. I don't remember though.
Oh.
I could be wrong. It's happened once before. Um, let's see.
Happy you can admit that.
Yeah.
Well, the first season was 13 episodes. The second season was 13 episodes. Okay, so we're like halfway. We're like halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah. More than halfway through because this was episode 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as it goes up to right now, I only see up to chapter 11. So like we potentially only have 3 episodes left, maybe 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like and then it's also like the thing of like to kind of go on a tangent, like the thing going on with like Warner Brothers and HBO and all that stuff, like it or the CW, like is Stargirl even going to get like a 4th season? Like, are they like we got
You heard
like
the new news
no?
about who's taking over all the DC stuff, DC films?
Oh, what's his face? Um, is it Joss? It's not Joss.
No.
No,
Hell
it's
no. Hell
no,
no.
it was the other dude. God, what is his name?
There are a lot of other dudes.
Yeah, I know the other comic book dude that I actually happen to know by name, but I can't remember.
It's James Gunn.
Thank you. I was
Yeah.
like the other big comic book director dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he directed things such, Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, 1 and 2, and he's doing 3. Peacemaker. But yeah. The Suicide Squad. Not the bad one, the good one. The one with Idris in it. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, so he's taking over. So I mean, sounds good to me.
Hey,
I haven't disliked any comic book thing I've seen him do. So
this is true.
There we go. But yeah. Werewolf by Night.
Oh wait, we didn't. Did we mention that Mr. Bones is thinking of creating his
Oh,
own
putting his own
Helix?
team again? Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious as to like what's going to lead into this crossover with Titans, which also has to be
And Doom
coming up,
Patrol.
and Doom Patrol, that has to be coming soon because Titans is starting like what, in like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we should be getting closer.
Yeah. So let's get into Werewolf by Night. So this is a DC special they did. It was about an hour long. Um,
It was
50,
a Marvel
55
special.
minutes. I said DC, didn't I? My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, no, 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 wait. It's Marvel. Yeah, this was a Halloween TV special, as they called it, and it only felt right since Halloween is in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to give overall thoughts first? Because, like, I treated it like I watched it kind of like it was a movie
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know anything about this work. So,
Yeah. It's one that like I knew the character existed, but I didn't know anything about it
mm,
because it
I
just
yeah.
didn't really appeal to me to like read the comic books or anything like that. So
All right, let's get into it.
okay.
If you
So
haven't watched, sorry, if you haven't watched, this is now your time to pause and come back. This is your cue because we gonna start now.
yes.
Start.
So my overall thoughts, interesting. When I was done,
Mhm.
I remember just being done, be like, okay, that was a thing they did. Um, I feel like what happened is just one random night, Feige was high as fuck, and he was like, "Yo,
Let's do
remember that
this.
thing they did with the werewolf?" And somebody was like, "What are you talking about? Marvel did a thing with a werewolf. Look it up, look it up, look it up." And they look it up and like, "Yo, let's do that." And like,
It
what? Like, yeah, let's do it. We got a lot of money. Let's just do that shit. Halloween, boom.
only makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Because it wasn't one of the, it was one of those things like it didn't add or subtract anything to my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was just okay. I wasn't mad that I watched it. This is cool. It I feel like it took entirely too long for me to find out what his name was.
Yeah,
Or
like
anybody's name was. It was
when I
just except
was
for Ulysses. He's the only one whose name I knew.
and Elsa,
Dead nigga.
like they were the only two people they had named
Well, they didn't
at
name
first.
them until like part of the way through the maze.
Well, Elsa, she showed up, but like they had made a big deal about like when she arrived, they were like, Elsa's here.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear them
Yeah.
say Elsa.
Halloween, man. Halloween.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as far as Jack goes, like I didn't know his name until way into until that part what I was talking about in the maze when they both introduced themselves to each other. Like
Hmm.
nobody else had a name. You said Elsa, so I'll believe you there. But I didn't hear that name either. The only name I knew before that point was Ulysses, the dead nigga. So
Oh yeah, because they said it in the beginning in the
right.
intro.
I mean, I didn't really care about any of them though. Like it was just I don't know who these people are. I just knew we were in this house looking around. There's a bunch of dead shit on the wall, and like, oh, okay, so they kill things. Okay, oh, they kill monsters. All right. So they about to kill another one. Okay, they get this bloodstone. What's the bloodstone do? We don't know yet. Okay, it weakens the monster though. All right, cool. There was a whole lot of like just why for a while, but eventually I got into it. Is my point. It didn't grab me
Yeah,
right away, but eventually I got into it.
Yeah, like it was giving like the big hunt kind of feel, like 'cause, they said you had to slay this monster so that you become the new leader and get to hold the bloodstone and all that. And then so when they had pointed out that Jack knew the monster, I was like, oh, this is very early on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then they freed him so fast, and then I was just like, oh, this plot is going open and shut really quick. It was a bunch of I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess if that's what you're gonna do, because like it was a lot of putting together. Like trying to like I was trying to rationalize them all like randomly coming after each. Like I was like, is the goal here, or the theory here, to take out your competition first and then take out the
Yeah, I think that's what
monster?
they were doing. I think he was, like, all right, look, everybody was like, yeah, we take out other people here, so there's nobody else to kill this monster, and it's me that is able to do the killing, and I get the bloodstone. So
I guess.
there's different ways of going about it. It's like when you're playing like all those games like Fortnite and all that. Like you got there's people who go after everybody right away, just blah, 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 blah. And there's people who wait, just sit in the wings and wait for their opportunity, and then end up
Like the
winning.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, so it's a matter of strategy.
Have you seen the Hunger Games?
No,
Okay.
I just Jennifer Lawrence doesn't do it for me.
It's the story, not the person. But anywho. But
I
what was I
mean,
saying?
if I don't trust the person to tell me the story,
But so where are they going with this?
taking out the
Oh yeah,
competition.
they took out the competition, and I was like, okay, because I was like, why are they attacking? Like for her, I like when that one dude came at her, I was just like, okay, I get it, because like they didn't really want to compete with her anyway
Mm-hmm.
because she had been gone for so long. And but then I was just like, okay, so what's the other half of the movie gonna be if they freed Swamp Thing, who was the creature?
That was Ted.
Ted. Oh yeah, why did I read Swamp Thing? Ted, the swampish looking creature.
Like I said, because he kind of gave off Swamp Thing vibes, so I get it. But yeah,
Okay, I was just like, where did I get that from? But yeah, it's a mixed review, but it was still interesting because I had to I looked up like a little bit of background information on it just so I kind of understood what I was going into.
yeah, that creature, Ted, he's also called Man Thing.
Thank you. I was just like, there was some kind of thing in there, because I also was like, I don't recall Swamp Thing like setting people on fire, but like,
Yeah, that's some different shit. Yeah, this is he's called Man Thing.
okay. Um,
They weren't very creative as far as the name of things go, but
uh,
I'd rather
I
just call him Ted because I
I
think
like
that's funnier.
I like Ted. I like Ted being included in this, because like it was mixed reviews. I enjoyed the movie for like what it was inspired by, or like the style that it was inspired by, um, which is like of horror films from the 30s and 40s. I had to like look all this shit up, but
Mm-hmm.
like I enjoyed like how they did it, and felt it felt at it like, even though like I say like it was a little quick paced, I think it was paced to a degree that I was just like, okay, this gets the story across.
Mm-hmm.
It made me wonder more about like, why did Elsa leave at some point? Why was she estranged from her father? Why did Ulysses think it was necessary to turn himself into an animatronic corpse? Um,
Yeah, yeah. Like Did you always want to be a Disney Imagineer? Is that what it was? Like, what was your reasoning behind doing that? I mean, granted, like after I saw that, I want people to do that to my corpse when I die, but
It's not,
um,
that feels so expensive,
worth it.
I guess.
And then proceed with my regular plans that I wanted to do with my body afterwards, anyway. But before that, turn me into an animatron, and
With the message,
yeah, with a message.
you have to record the message first, though.
Oh, I will.
I'm sure you will. But
Let's see. We don't have to go through the whole thing, like through the plot. We can just kind of talk about it.
I feel like we've kind of already been doing that. But
Yeah,
so they free him, and then I was also like I accidentally spoiled that, like, Jack was not just Jack. And so when
oh, you
he went,
couldn't tell that from the beginning?
I mean, I just thought
Well,
he
you know
like,
what? I guess it was one of those things when we started off when they just were talking about hunting this creature. At the first, I thought it was him, and then they was like, "Yeah, we're getting together to hunt this creature." And then I thought the creature was the werewolf. So I'm just like, okay, maybe
yeah,
that's what it is. Until we saw the creature, like, okay, well then, nah, that ain't it. He is the werewolf.
yeah, like it
So
took
I went back
it,
and forth on if Jack was a werewolf. Was my point. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, shit, what was I saying?
You weren't like it took a while for you when you saw that Jack was a werewolf or something like that.
Oh yeah, so like trying to figure out, after they had freed Man Thing, and he like runs off into nature, and he goes to pick up the stone, which I imagined he was going to give it to Elsa.
Right.
Like he got thrown back, and I was just like, oh, okay, so this is when we find out, because I was like, what are we going to do for the last 25 minutes of this special? And they put them in the cage, locked together. The corpse, they would probably it probably is a prop from the ride, that they were just like, oh, we're gonna update the ride, so let's just use him now.
Yeah.
uh but the group of hunters wasn't too happy with Elsa helping him free Ted, but then also to realize that Jack himself is a creature, or a monster, I'll say.
Yeah, they were so pissed. Like
They were just like,
so
oh,
pissed.
now you definitely have to die. You definitely can't win this.
Yeah, and they were just like, you're filthy, vile creature, blah 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 blah. And then like we says, oh, for your own good and for the good of everyone else to keep them safe. He's like, and he was saying how like he's got it under control because
He's like, once a month,
you know
I
when the
chain
full moon's
myself up
coming, I'm locked up. Exactly. We got 5 days to the next full moon. In which case, Elsa's like, yeah, they can make you turn in 5 seconds. So
with the bloodstone,
yeah.
because it defies nature.
Yeah, at that point, he's just like, okay, well, let's do something about it then, and gets to sniffing her. Just,
Instantly start sniffing her.
yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, this isn't weird at all. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sniffing this woman you just met.
Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, I got to remember you.
And I was like, do you?
I mean, once you saw what he started doing, yeah, you're kind of glad he did. Like,
Oh, well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, did he? I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I know. And I'm just reinforcing, yeah, he did. Because had he not, he would have ripped her face off. So,
Straight ripped it off.
yeah. Yeah, holding tongue like don't break eye contact no matter what. And she listened and she lived.
In a
My thing
very
was when I'm sorry, go ahead.
affectionate and I was like, in a very affectionate manner.
Yeah, and then my thing, it was really I'd forgotten about him, but also when he first left, I was like, yeah, he'll probably be back. When Man Thing left and came back,
Oh yeah. I was wondering what was gonna happen because like when Elsa, yanked back Verusa, her father's lover, paramour, partner,
where the
whoever.
fuck she was, yeah.
Right.
The evil stepmother.
Yeah, it was like I know that shit didn't kill her. I know that shit hurt, but I know she didn't kill her.
Exactly. Like it like tore at her back, but she's still alive.
Yeah.
So,
So she was about to kill her, and Man Thing was like, "Here I am,
yeah.
and I'm gonna burn you up."
She's like, Came in with she had the blunderbuss in her hand, just like, yep, I got your, and then nope, Man Thing.
He threw her into the casket.
It was
a lot of desecrating of dead bodies in this special.
Yeah.
They desecrated the tomb of, her Aunt Frances.
Yeah, because she was just like, she just knew she would come back to life, and of course she had contingencies. He needed a way out, so
that's crazy. Could you imagine being like, I want you to make me a whole set of keys
just to leave in my coffin.
Just to leave in my coffin for when I come back. I don't care if you don't believe in it. Like, could you imagine? And it said she died in like 1922. So my thing is just like, do you know how expensive it probably was to create copies of keys back then?
Mm-hmm.
I could only imagine.
Yeah.
But and then we get Jack wakes up in the morning next day, clothed to some coffee from Man Thing, and we've got color back in the movie because this whole thing was black and white. Just in case.
Yeah. In case y'all didn't see it.
Forgot to mention the
whole thing was black and white except the bloodstone.
Yeah. Till the end.
Yeah, and when Elsa got the bloodstone, then everything was in color.
In color, Jack wakes up in his human form, and he's happy to find out that he did not murder Elsa.
Yeah, and also with the whole color thing, as they turned the color on, they started doing the Wizard of Oz song because they went from black and white to color, just like Wizard of Oz. And okay. So they started singing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." But yeah, anything else with Werewolf by Night?
No, but I did enjoy that special. I think they have another one coming out closer to the holidays.
Yeah, there's a Guardians of the Galaxy special.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So trailer for that dropped actually pretty recently.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it?
Not the trailer.
Want to watch it?
Sure.
Okay, let's watch that trailer. I can pull it up here.
And while he's pulling that up, just so you guys know, you can always join us in our groups that we were talking about earlier. Like this one has a group. It's facebook.com/group/Creatia Comics.
Not Create a Comic.
We do have a website as well that you can always check out, creatiaworld.com. We talked about Dem Dragons. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, we just wrapped up that whole season of House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Is it House of the Dragon or is it House of Dragons? Because I know Black Twitter says it one way, and I know it's different from the actual title of the show.
The official name of the show is The House of the Dragon.
The House of the Dragon.
Yes.
And I think Black Twitter has been calling it just House of Dragons.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to be sure. If you're a wrestling fan, we also have a podcast that's hosted by Matt, the Warden Ritter, and Vince Delgado. I told you I'm not calling him daddy. I don't know him. He has a whole girlfriend to do that for him. And they do that every week. And that also has a group where you can joke around or wrestle around with them. And that's facebook.com/groups.
Really? Wrestle around with them?
I don't know. Smacking it raw. Yeah, everything else. I mean, we have Instagram and Twitter at It's Creatia World, and I'm not spelling anything because it's on the screen.
Audio listeners, my friend.
Okay, it's at
That's actually the majority of our audience.
okay, it's at ITS Creatia Creatia World. I legally am not allowed to tell you how to spell world, so it's in my contract.
Oh man,
Did you get the trailer?
I got it.
Okay.
All right.
It was like we gonna screen share it.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. You're
Audio. We did this last time.
yeah, and I shared the audio. See, that's the thing. What the hell? Just share system audio.
Don't yell at me
I'm
or
not
the
yelling
view
at you. I'm
or
yelling
the
at the.
viewers or the listeners
No, I'm yelling.
at YouTube.
No, at StreamYard. All right, it should work this time.
I just saw on the calendar.
Here, let me get back to the game.
I just saw on the calendar that right now on Earth it's almost Christmas time.
We don't have time for trivialities like Christmas.
But Peter's so sad about Gamora being gone.
What's that?
Gamora is dead. She's not gone. She is dead.
It would make him happy. Something special he will never forget.
What about
I was like, are they going to Earth for Christmas?
We're looking for the legendary Kevin
We're
Bacon.
looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that tracks.
Your voice is small and mousy. I think maybe he didn't hear you.
You're coming with us as a Christmas present.
I'm Groot.
Not introducing Kevin Bacon.
But yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was the Guardians holiday special trailer.
Well, I guess that is. Is that Kevin Bacon's introduction to the MCU?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't
Right,
remember him being in
'cause
anything
that-
else.
I don't know why. I always get him and the dude who played Killian in Iron Man 3 confused. It's the dude from Memento. I think that plays him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Bacon from Hollow Man.
No, I know who Kevin Bacon is.
Oh, I know. I was just, wanted to point out that, he was from Hollow Man, and everybody should see Hollow Man if you haven't seen Hollow Man. But I think that's it, though. That'll be it for this week's episode of Creatia Comics. We'll catch y'all next week. Don't forget to follow us on both Twitter and Instagram. I'm Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you?
Mara the Shark, MARADASHARK on Instagram and Twitter.
All right.
It is
catch-
that is the dude from Memento who plays the guy in Iron Man, Guy Pearce.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll catch y'all next week. Till then, we out.
Laters.